Welcome, Degens, to another edition of the Degen Docs. What is up, folks? We got Monday Night Football times 2. That's right. We've all been good boys and girls, and the NFL is rewarding us with 2 really good matchups on Monday night. We, of course, also have our injury rundown. A ton of injury news, especially out in San Francisco. And we've got our waiver wire targets, and we will not leave without giving you our early line locks, what we are betting right now. So without further ado, let's kick this off. This NFL Week 8 betting preview and fantasy football preview edition of the Degen Docs on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with promo code SGPNDOC to get a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Start crushing college football and the NFL with Rhythm. Get your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamingpodcast.com/RITHMM. All right, folks, I'm one of your hosts here, the OG Degen Doc himself, but I am joined, more importantly, by my co-host, my brother in degeneracy, Mr. Professor Locks, a.k.a. Derek Bennett. How we doing tonight, brother?
Hey, how about them Steelers last night, dude?
How about them Steelers, man? They really came through for you on your lock.
Yeah.
Out last night, man, and we had ourselves a day wrap up to the day last night. So first off, before we get too far into it, to you, my friend, to all those awesome listeners out there, cheers to you. We appreciate you rocking with us. Pop in the chat. Let us know what you're drinking tonight. Let us know what you're on tonight. Questions, concerns, get the chat popping. But coming off a 3-1 week for you, looking pretty damn good. Unfortunately, I cannot say the same right now.
Well, yes, it was a 3-1 week, but I can still bitch about that one a little bit here.
Okay. Does that mean we need to is it time?
Yeah, let's just roll into it.
It's time. Okay, folks. Look, we debuted this a little a couple weeks ago with some of the bullshit going on in the NFL. Obviously, we've been doing pretty damn well this season, but everybody's got something to bitch about. So, welcome to the Degen Docs Red Zone Bitching Hour. All right, my friend, I have a feeling yours is going to be much shorter than mine. So, why don't you go ahead and start?
Probably so. Well, I don't know if I can take if it's full credit or what it is, but we were watching that Packers Houston game, kind of going back and forth most of the afternoon, and it comes to halftime, and I think the Texans were up by 5 at halftime, and I texted you and said, watch, neither one of us will end up hitting that game. We were on opposite sides. I had the Packers, you had the Texans, you took Houston money line. I took Packers with the points there, and guess what? Neither of us ended up hitting that one. It did finish with a 2-point spread. Luckily, at halftime, when they were down 5, I did jump on live at plus 3.5. So I did end up at least evening things out there with the Packers. But that was kind of a tough way to not get to that 4-0 point.
Yeah, no, but hey, I mean, I don't think we can complain about 3-1 there for you. So
no,
congrats to you. You were definitely on top of that one. Now for me here, where should I start? You know what? Let me start with my New York Football Giants.
Hey, we got a game tonight. Tonight.
I know we got games tonight. I'm not gonna. I promise.
Well, hopefully, what I'm saying is, hopefully, we'll get you that one here in a couple hours here.
That's true. Yes, I do have one of my locks pending. Chargers, I believe I gave them out -2 earlier in the week. So still on that, still love that. But real quick, let's look in the rear view for a second. I officially pronounced the New York Football Giants as dead. I actually did that last week pretty much. Once Andrew Thomas went out for the season, Season's over. People are texting me. I got all these Philly buddies texting me all this bullshit. Look, Eagles still suck. Yes, Saquon, absolutely. Benedict Barkley, that was tough to watch. Let's just say that was definitely painful to watch him run all up and down that MetLife turf. But I mean, hey, Dexter Lawrence leads the league with 9 sacks. The defense looks good. Really,
but the boy had himself a day.
He did have himself a day. I got to give it up to Saquon. He absolutely he made us look like dog shit. But really, it's the offense.
Oh yeah.
No Andrew Thomas. Season's done. Look, it's over. Daniel Jones, he needs to be put to bed, man. I don't even know what to say for the rest of the season. NFL draft, but thank the good Lord for sports gambling, because it gives us an opportunity to, if your team sucks, you can still enjoy the NFL and make some cash.
That's
now,
true.
I will say I do have a bit of a bone to pick with, I know we're going to get into this a little bit later, but whatever the hell is going on where it's lack of reporting and all of a sudden guys are getting sick and they're not playing and there's all these illnesses that popped up. So I don't know what the fuck was going on with the flu week. I mean, Demario Douglas apparently woke up, was on IV in the morning. No reports at all. Nothing. Right. He played some in the first quarter and then came back, played like 1 snap in the fourth quarter, and that was it. I mean, come on, man. How is no one going to report that? The NFL can't promote sports gambling and all these things and all these fantasy projection sites and not report somebody, hey, he's been on IVs all fucking morning.
Right.
Obviously, Deebo Samuel, we got some more things there. But, look, the Titans up 10-7 at half and then just gave up, 27 straight points in a row.
That was a
Texans game. I don't know how they lose that game. That's Jordan Love did exactly what I thought Jordan Love was going to do. He was going to look good in some windows, and he was going to absolutely, try to throw the game away, which he really did try. But Packers did wind up getting it done. We off a field goal there. But hey, you know what? I'm done with the bitching hour. We're moving forward because we got 2 Monday Night Football games, and honestly, this is why you want to give us a follow there on the good old X. Let me pull this up, just kind of one example of what we were on last night. A couple things we tweeted out before the game. We both had ourselves a decent night. We were both on the Steelers, both with the points and money line. And one of us was a pretty big believer in Mr. Russell Wilson there. 250 plus passing and 2 touchdowns for a nice 14-1 there to help clean up the weekend and get things going there. So definitely give us a follow there. But we're here and we're going to be talking about Monday Night Football in a second. Before we do, I got to tell you folks about what we got going over here on SGPN. The NBA season tips off on October 22nd, and the NBA Gambling Podcast is hosting a win totals contest. Winner gets $250 in SGPN gift cards. Head to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/NBA contest to enter today before the season starts at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/NBA contest. Thank you, as always, for tuning in to the Degen Docs. We appreciate you guys. Again, our first season. We've grown. We've definitely learned a bunch. We've appreciated all the comments, feedback. Please keep sending them. Hit that subscribe button. We appreciate hanging out with you guys. Tell us how we can improve the show. But if you can do us a favor and head on over to Spotify and give us a 5-star rating, only you can prevent corporate gambling from taking over. So we do appreciate any feedback, likes, comments, all of those things. Also, flood support, guys. Look, mountainproject.org. We've talked about it a ton here, but it's definitely a cause that we can't talk about enough. Now that it's fallen out of the national news and the media, this is where, a lot of times initiatives get pushed and different events get pushed. And then it's kind of that week or two after where things kind of get forgotten, and there's still people out there suffering. So if you can help out, again, mountainproject.org, SGPN's partner with them. We're going to be doing some matching there and as far as donating. So please, if you can, reach out. But Joseph did say we did help him out there with the Thursday night with that garbage-ass game. Look, we appreciate you, Joseph, banging in the chat with us, man, hanging out. Cheers to you. But, yeah, we did have a nice Thursday. Shout out to the intern. If you didn't, check over on X and actually all of our socials. We posted we did get an intern here. Who should not be named, the faceless intern. I put together a sweet promo video of us. Derek cashed Broncos anytime touchdown. What was that? 4-1.
Broncos defense 4-1. Yep.
4-1. We had Javonte Williams anytime touchdown. We had Foster Moreau 25 plus yards, almost 50 yards. Man, he was so fucking close to that too. So we had ourselves a day on Thursday, and we're looking to do the same thing tonight here on Monday night with 2 games. So without further ado, let's just get the fuck into it. Let's get into it here. And hey, for tonight, we know sometimes
we get into our games, do we want to do some bet checks?
Oh, my fault. Yes,
it's mid-season point, right? So we're kind of through the first, half, if you will. We usually break things up into quarters, 4 games, and then like this random ass fifth game in the fourth quarter there of the season. But let's take a look at some of the bets that we threw out as far as futures. Maybe there were some props, maybe there are team totals, maybe teams to hit the playoffs. So what things are you liking so far that you threw out before the season?
Yeah, no, I think you like you said, we're going to do a check-in here. And one of the reasons that I thought about this was because on my phone today, I got a bet that paid out. Deshaun Watson under 3,300 and a half passing yards. It came through. I mean, hey, no one likes to see it come through in a way of an injury, but that was definitely part of the handicap. He's a guy who has not been able to stay healthy. He's a guy who hasn't played football in a while. So if you did tail with us on that, Deshaun Watson came through. I will start with the picks I was completely off on, the picks that I'm ready to rip up the ticket because they're just done. 2 of them revolve around the Las Vegas Raiders. Some way, somehow, in some dream, some possessed motherfucker got in my head and decided that the Las Vegas Raiders were going to be anything. That last stretch of 8 games last season was absolutely smoke and mirrors because, my Las Vegas Raiders to make the playoffs, take it at plus 300. We can pretty much tear that up. Aiden O'Connell, we'll get into some injuries, but broken thumb, 4 to 6 more weeks of Gardner Minshew, who we did hit as a week 1 starter, but man, I wish he was not. And then Zamir White, over 775 and a half rushing yards. I don't know what the hell's going on with that guy. I mean, I was on Alexander Madison this week. His ladder came through. You guys, we need to, like, if you haven't already, I've made the mental adjustment. We also basically said Zamir White's done. He's no longer getting any airtime on the show. We're taking him off. We're not feeling him. So in a way of fading him, yes, he played last week, but I wrote Alexander Madison ladders. I mean, I think he got all the way up to 60, which was 10-1. So definitely need to make the adjustment. Alexander Madison is the RB1 there, not Zamir White. Josh Jacobs, I went with this under on the season. He looks like a machine. That's definitely gonna be gone. And then finally, my Giants. My Giants are dead. Over 6.5. I don't even want them to hit that at this point because I need us to get an actual quarterback where I don't want to lose it anytime I watch them. But I will end on a good note. And right now we both gave out, I think, Bucks to win the NFC South at plus 320. That's looking pretty good. Looking pretty damn good. I gave out Detroit at plus 150. That was a big win against Minnesota. Really, my fades have been doing pretty well. Oh, and the Steelers over 8.5 wins. We both gave that out. That's looking pretty damn good. My 3 fades that I absolutely love: Miami Dolphins to miss the playoffs at plus 130. It would really take a miracle for them to kind of turn that around with all the injuries there. San Francisco under 9.5 wins at plus 350.
Looking pretty good right now.
That's not looking bad right now. And then the Jacksonville Jaguars under 6.5 wins at plus 260. So some of my fades are getting a little. I'm excited to have those tickets in my pocket right now. What about you, my friend? What are some things that you are absolutely loving and some things that you just can't get rid of fast enough?
So let's talk about the miss of the season, probably, and that's the Jags to make the playoffs. That is not going to come to fruition here. But let's talk a little bit about some props that I did like. Probably the one that I'm liking the most to this point is Baltimore to score a rushing touchdown in each game. I mean, Derrick Henry, that addition to that offense has been incredible. So that's sitting at 10-1 out there. Now, part of this is they almost hit this last year, but they missed in 2 games, and both of them were to my Pittsburgh Steelers. So come second half of the season, we'll see how the Ravens do against my Steelers. I also put the Steelers out there to win both of those games. So Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, neither of which play real well against the Steelers. But anyways, that's probably the one that as far as the Jags that I really don't like. Baltimore, that's probably the one prop that I do like to this point. Otherwise, things have not gone so well up to this point. Sam Laporta has not shown the high end talent up to this point in the season. He's having an okay season, but definitely not on pace to hit 850 for the season. Devin Singletary, Tyrone Tracy's kind of taking over that backfield to a certain extent. I know Singletary's been injured, but yeah, without Andrew Thomas as part of that offensive line, I don't know if he's going to get there. You already talked about Zamir White, Pacheco. Injury wise, that's not gonna hit his over 10 rushing touchdowns. But a couple of awards that I threw out there: Jaden Daniels to win Rookie of the Year, looking pretty good at 5-1. And then I also mentioned Jared Goff to win MVP, and that was sitting out there at 20-1. I believe he's down to 6-1 right now. I think he's third in those rankings right now, behind, for whatever reason, Patrick Mahomes, that I believe has more interceptions than touchdowns, and Lamar Jackson. So those I really like up to this point. You already mentioned the Steelers over 8 or 8.5 wins or to make the playoffs. I can't remember, but I took that. The one that is probably going to be the big sweat is the Falcons under 9.5 wins. And then let's talk a little bit about the NFC least that you kept referring to back when we were doing division previews. I did take Dallas to win both of their games against the Giants. Halfway there with that one. And then, Saquon did have himself a day, and I had him scoring 3 touchdowns, I believe, at like plus, I don't have it right here. It was like plus 350, plus 370, something like that. Just scored 3 touchdowns against the Giants, and he did score one yesterday. Had some definite opportunities to score a couple, but that damn Jalen Hurts. That he is.
He did graciously bow out for a couple, but he did get one in there. So all right, well, let's go ahead and move on to these games tonight. Look, folks, if you have injury questions, start getting them in the chat now. We're gonna have to kind of speed through that a little bit because we want to get through these games, and I do have to get off here at just around 8 o'clock to make sure I've got some secret military stuff I got to do. So some business I got to take care of. So we will be off here in about 20 minutes. So if you have injury questions, start dropping those in the chat right now. But we're going to go through these games. And as I'm teeing this up, my friend, can you pull up the inactives for us? Because it looks like they just started dropping there. So
for sure.
First game tonight, I think 8:15, 8 something around there. This is gonna be these are some great games, honestly. I'm super stoked for tonight. But we've got the Baltimore Ravens taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We got Baltimore heading to Tampa. Baltimore laying 4 on the road. Last I saw it at -112 just before we hopped on. Tampa Bay catching 4 as home dogs at -108. Over under sitting at 50.5. And then let's see what they're on the money line there. Bucks at Bucks are +4.5. They moved up to already. Yep. +185 and -225 for the Baltimore Ravens. Over sitting at 51 now. So people are getting in on it right about now is when all the public's trying to get the money on it. For the Ravens, the injury situation is pretty easy. They're very healthy. They really do not have anybody inactive that shouldn't be. I mean, they're everyone in this game that should be playing is playing. No really big losses there.
Really same with the Bucks there, to be honest with you. They both are pretty healthy.
They had a couple guys questionable that were all expected to play. It looks like they are. Cornerback number 1, Jamel Dean, is out. He was put on the IR today. So that is a big loss. He's their best cover cornerback. So that's pretty big. I think that's going to play into some of these plays here. And they're still missing a linebacker, Savasier Dennis, the pit man, who was playing in pretty well. So KJ Britt's slow ass is still in there. But it looks like, based on what Derek's telling me, Jalen McMillan, Vita Vea, Rashad White, and Trey Palmer all good to go, all active tonight.
Correct.
Cool. All right, man. How do you see this game playing out, and what are your best bets for this game?
Yeah, so I'm all over the Ravens in this one, and it's a pretty simple, in my opinion. Baltimore against the NFC. That's all I have to say. I mean, the Lamar Jackson against NFC opponents is insane. For whatever reason, the dude just takes over games against NFC opponents. Now, I fully understand Tampa Bay's at home. Tampa Bay has an offense that can put up some points as well. But I think it's just completely different when Lamar comes rolling in, especially with the addition of Derrick Henry, and how that's really changed their offense to the better. They've always had a strong running game, nothing like this, which really pains me to say. But I think at the end of the day, Baltimore gets ahead fairly early in this game and then just puts it to them. And I know the Ravens passing defense has definitely taken a step back this year. Their rush defense is as good as it always has been. So yes, I think Baker will be able to put up some stats tonight, but I think the Ratbirds will end up with the win.
Yeah, you got to feel pretty strong about that as a diehard Steelers fan there.
Yeah.
If you're that in on the Ravens. Look, man, I don't blame you. I mean, do you know the one quarterback who has beaten Lamar Jackson in the NFC?
Is it Baker?
Mr. Daniel Jones. The one loss is to the New York Football Giants in the NFC.
Vanilla Vic.
He's got like a crazy record against the NFC opponents, like 25-1 or something like that. But
yeah,
his one loss is to the New York Giants. I mean, it was really the defense. He got sacked like 6 times, got picked off a couple times. But I always love that nugget because it's the one thing I can smile about with that New York Giants team. So, look, man, I am not as in on a side. I'm actually, one of my early line locks in Monday's show last week was the over on this game at 48.5. It's ballooned. It's at 451 now. Obviously, I liked where hopefully you got on the number with me earlier. I think it was at 48 or 48. I think it was at 48 when we give it out, but 48 and a half. Hopefully you got on that. So, I mean, obviously I'm not getting off there, but 51's a lot in prime time. That's probably a little bit too rich for me to really be jumping on. But I hope you got over at the 48 and a half there. And then we've got Baker Mayfield over 270.5 at plus 125. Look, I think both quarterbacks going into the overplay. I think both quarterbacks are gonna get live here. I actually have Baker alt line over 270 at plus 125, and then Lamar over 245.5 at plus 130.
I took both of those too, and we have somebody hopping in the chat here. I do also have Mike Evans anytime touchdown tonight as well as first touchdown tonight.
Shout out to Pops who actually sent me today down there in Florida working the underdog streets. He now I think he has a what is it? Josh, let me look at it now. It's like a 6-leg or whatever they call 6 kind of player projection there that he's got riding on a Mike Evans touchdown. I think it's like 5 to win 100 there. So shout out to the Pops where the thing started there. Learn it early. So we hope for multiple reasons Mike Evans cashes there. So bring the good vibes for Mike Evans to find the end zone.
For sure.
The other 2 guys I'm on, I'm going to be on Justice Hill, 25 plus receiving yards at plus 130. I mean, especially in prime time.
I also took his over. I think, again, is part of the reason why I like Justice Hill in this one is because I do think Baltimore gets ahead a little bit. And they do spell Derrick Henry occasionally, especially I think if they end up, with a 2-score lead late.
Yeah. No, I like Justice Hill today a lot, both on the ground and in the air. I also like his anytime touchdown plus 450. Like I said, I think there's going to be a decent amount of points in this game. So I think that yards and touchdowns, both these defenses giving up over 250 yards through the air, a little bit more stout on the ground. Definitely Ravens way more stout on the rush defense side there. But look, for the Bucs wide receivers, is it going to be Evans? Is it going to be Godwin? Are we going to see a not in game? Is Jalen McMillan going to do something? That's why I went with Baker. I didn't really want to get into which guy, but I went with Baker there. But for the Ravens, I will give out Zay Flowers over 85.5 receiving yards at plus 200. Again, I talked about Jamel Dean, their number 1 cornerback, is out this game. I like Zay Flowers to get a ton of targets and to eat. So, look, I'm on both quarterbacks to get it done through the air. I'm on points to be scored, and specifically Hill and Flowers to have a day. All right, we've got another game, so let's get right to it. The Los Angeles Chargers are heading out to the desert, take on the Arizona Cardinals there. Los Angeles laying 1 on the road at -108. Cardinals catching a point, -112 coming the other way. And then over-under sitting at 44. If you want to double-check me real quick, those was the numbers when I looked right before we got on. I will tell you about some of their injury situations here. Now, their inactives you might have to pull up for me. But the guys who are definitely out for the Chargers, Quentin Johnston, Hayden Hurst, Joey Bosa, Asante Samuel Jr. All starters, all guys that play a decent role on that defense. Any other guys inactive that are of note?
Give me 1 second.
I will move on to the Cardinals while you're looking that up. Right tackle Jonah Williams out. Right guard Will Hernandez out. And earlier in the season, they lost their best pass rusher BJ Ojulari to an ACL tear. They have really both these teams have some big question marks there. This is where the injury report is a bit more filled. So do you have those inactives for us?
Yep. So inactives for the Chargers, we got Quentin Johnston, Darius Davis. Nobody really cares about those guys. Hayden Hurst won't be suiting up. Joey Bosa won't be suiting up. For the Cardinals, you named the big ones already. So nothing too surprising.
Okay, so it looks like a lot of those guys who were questionable will play.
Yeah.
So the Cardinals had Kaiser White, their leading tackler, as questionable coming in. Yep. They also had Sean Murphy-Bunting, former Buccaneer, but he was out. He was dealing with a neck injury. He's their best cover guy. Also, their nickelback, Garrett Williams, was questionable, and their defensive tackle, Roy Lopez. So it sounds like they're going to play, which is great news. And then for the Chargers side of the ball, they had 2 defensive backs in Christian Fulton and Jaisir Taylor questionable, and Ladd McConkey. Looks like all those guys are suiting up, which is great, obviously, for both teams there. So what are you on this game? What are your best bets for the second half of this Monday night doubleheader?
So I did jump back and forth between the two as recently as like 2 hours ago, but you did talk me into taking the Chargers. I went back to look at the Chargers against the Steelers. And, I think there's a lot of similarities offensively between the Steelers and the Cardinals. You have, or at least at that point, you had Justin Fields, you had Najee Harris, fairly similar to Kyler and James Conner. You have basically one great weapon in terms of Marvin Harrison versus George Pickens. And, Najee ended up having a little bit of a day against the Cardinals or against the Chargers. So I do like James Conner in this one. As far as rushing numbers, I really kind of like both J.K. Dobbins and James Conner. For this one, I struggled to find many props that I liked. I don't know if it's necessarily, I just don't know the Cardinals super well. Or what it is.
Props in this one were tougher.
Yeah, I did go with J.K. Dobbins to score and to get in the end zone twice for his 2 touchdowns at plus 475. Pretty chalky there, but I really think this is going to be an ugly game. I took the under for this one.
I do like the under. Yeah, I don't have it on here as official play.
And yeah, like I said, I think both rushing offenses are probably the strong suits to this point. I think Kyler's kind of been up and down most of the season. And the Chargers defense has been rock solid, both through the air and through the ground for most of the season. So yeah. For this one, props were kind of challenging.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to put this show in a hyperdrive a little bit. So really, really kind of as plainly as I can say it, I love the Chargers tonight. I don't think the Arizona Cardinals are a good team. I think they're actually a pretty bad team. I think their 2 right tackle and their starting right tackle and their starting right guard being out is a huge problem for this team. I think the fact that Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt are playing is a huge plus. I think that the Chargers, I have them -1. I have them on the alt line -7 at plus 240. I have Kyler Murray under 200 yards passing at plus 140. I've got Khalil Mack over a quarter of a sack at plus 110. And on the Chargers side, I like Kamani Vidal over 20.5 rush yards because I think they are going to be ahead in this game. I think they are going to be running the ball, playing behind that good defense. And I think he's going to be able to spell J.K. Dobbins there as he needs a breather. And then Will Dissly, 50-plus receiving yards at plus 380. You always know I like to sprinkle on a long shot, whether it's a tight end or RB2. So Will Dissly is the guy there. I just think the Chargers are forming into a dominant defense between Jim Harbaugh there. They're just tackling so well. And I think they're going to smother the Cardinals tonight. I really like the Chargers in this game. All right, folks, we are going to move on over to our injury rundown. So, again, this is going to be pretty quick. We're going to be giving like brief kind of updates here. Again, apologize just due to constraints. Got to get out of here kind of soon. But I'm going to just kind of briefly fire off. You let me know if you got any kind of input you want to do. We're going to work on the big ones here. Biggest one, Brandon Ayuk, ACL, MCL, multi-ligament knee injury. He's out for the season. Looking at about a 10 to 12 month recovery timeline. Obviously terrible news for him. Other season-ending injury, quarterback Deshaun Watson, we talked about a little bit. You could see the Achilles, the tendon tore, the calf reverberated, kind of that telltale sign. He's out. Anything on those two guys?
Nope. Season-ending injuries, it kind of sucks for both guys, but yeah, is what it is. They're both sitting on the pine for a good 10, 12 months.
Yep. It's going to be a long road. They're both looking at, like you said, looking ahead to next season. Jaden Daniels, got some good news on him. Negative x-rays. Initial x-rays were negative on a rib. Now, he's not out of the woods yet. With these rib injuries, you got to be careful. Sometimes the first x-ray doesn't pick up if it's a hairline, something like that. Yep. So he's not like for sure playing this week. It's, it could be a rib
cartilage issue to this point. And yeah, we've talked about extensively how rib injuries can be pretty painful, even though he was walking around on the sidelines, smiles, happy, all that kind of stuff. Definitely something to monitor throughout the rest of the week.
Yeah, so good news, but it's not like he's definitely playing yet. So one to monitor for sure. Another one to monitor, DK Metcalf, minor knee injury, nothing too serious, but still week to week. So not locked in for this week. Yep. Yeah, but the good thing is, nothing too serious there for him.
Sure.
Aiden O'Connell, broken thumb, out 4 to 6 weeks there. Juju re-injured that hamstring, so I expect him out multiple weeks. Yep. Dorian Thompson-Robinson dealing with a finger injury there. Negative x-rays, but it's going to be about his grip strength. Can he come back? And then, we talked about Jamel Dean on the IR. Geno Stone, someone who they thought broke his leg, actually not as serious. So some good news there. Orlando Brown dealing with the calf strain, things like that. So we've got some offensive line, defensive line. On Thursday, I promise we're going to get much more into it. Is there any other guys you want to speak about really quickly? I know we have a segment coming up where we'll talk about Mr. Debo.
Yeah, no, I think we hit the big ones. There really were not too many terribly huge injuries this week, which is nice.
The 49ers and the Browns suffered most of them.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they took the brunt for most of the league there. All right, folks, let me tell you. Contest time. Before we get on, tell you about Underdog Fantasy. Let's tell you about the road to 100 subscribers. Look, we are at over 80 subscribers right now, so we are less than 20 subscribers away from hitting the road to 100 subscribers. It is super easy, folks. All you have to do, click the subscribe button, take a screenshot, submit proof, and boom, you're instantly entered for a raffle, a random. We'll do it on the show. It's gonna be a random wheel. Everyone who submits $100 SGPN gift card. You can get cool ass merch like this. We want to give away our boss's money. You just got to help us out. Like I said, smash the subscribe button. There's 70 plus of you in here right now. Smash the subscribe button, submit proof, and boom. As soon as it hits 100, we're giving this money away. We want to do it right away, so definitely help us out there. We put the link in the comments, and we will pin it after the show. All right, let's keep moving along. Got to tell you guys about Underdog Fantasy. That's right, Underdog Fantasy. Use our promo code SGPNDOC to get up to a 50% deposit bonus in $1,000 bonus cash. Again, promo code SGPNDOC. All right, my friend. Would you like the Warrior or the Wussy for this?
Give me the Wussies this week.
Okay. I will start us off with a Warrior, a guy who said they actually reported he was sick. Now, coincidentally, it matched up with the night before his birthday because Mr. Birthday Boy Kenneth Walker. So we thought he was maybe playing hooky, but Kenneth Walker came through. Hopefully you started him. We were high on Kenneth Walker. We really liked the matchup there. We both liked the Seahawks, and he had 2 touchdowns, almost 100 yards total there. So he definitely put the team on his back despite his birthday hangover. Who are your Wussies?
Yeah, a couple dudes that just happened to come down with the flu on Sunday that we didn't really get much notice about. It is flu season, but Demario Douglas and Deebo Samuel both out with illnesses. Demario Douglas ended up playing the first half, got a couple catches, played 1 or 2 snaps in the second half, didn't do squat. We ended up taking him, expecting big things, definitely a big mistake. And then Deebo. I guess the iron's too hot against the reigning Super Bowl champs to even make an appearance. Okay, cool. You have pneumonia, whatever. Okay, cool. You're making millions of dollars, bro. Get on the field, act as a decoy, do something.
Well, they kind of threw Debo under the bus. We made this before this came out. I just broke it. He has pneumonia. He is hospitalized right now. So we feel a little bit worse now about this, but it would have been nice if we would have known something, because on the broadcast, they said he had a throat issue, throat thing. It was like, all right, what do we like? Put a lozenge in if you really need it. But so maybe less. But Demario Douglas, I blame the reporters. I blame Gerard Mayo just because he sucks. But he had IVs in the morning and nobody knew about it. So that's some bullshit. So you guys are the wussies of the week. All right, let's move on. Waiver wire targets. We're going to briefly breeze through these guys. So, Tua, he's coming back. He's coming back. I mean, hey, that offense, they need it, right? And they're going up against a bad Cardinals defense that you're going to see on display tonight. So get ahead of that and hop on Tua. Jalen Warren's back. He looks pretty good. That Steelers offense, they can support two backs. So against especially a bad New York Giants team, the defense actually pretty good, but when the offense is that bad, you're going to give up points and yards and touchdowns. Ricky Pearsall, they don't got much left there in San Francisco. Romeo Doubs, they're really showing Jordan Love can support multiple wide receivers. And Hunter Henry, a guy we gave out before, a guy we really like.
He's Drake the number 5 tight end right now.
Yeah, I mean, hey, Drake May's a guy that
taken by like 28% of leagues.
I was hammering the table for Drake May. His ladder, he took it all the way up to 275. He got me paid. He helped me survive not so great week on the locks there. Yep. All right, let's tell you about our friends over on BetUS and Rhythm, and then we're gonna give our locks for the early line, and we're gonna get out of here. BetUS, that's right, BetUS, bet with the best sports book around in 30 years. Sign up and deposit $100 for your chance to win a 1960 Ford Mustang. Use our link to sign up and get a $125 deposit bonus on your first 3 deposits. Go to sportsgamingpod.com/BetUS. That's sportsgamingpod.com/BetUS. We'll have that in the show notes. And then our friends over at Rhythms. That's right. They like models. We like models. And they're talking about models that can win you some money. And that's what they do over there. The #1 AI-powered sports betting platform that helps you provide bettors of all levels the ability to build custom predictive models in seconds. That is Rhythm. Get your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamingpodcast.com/RITHMM. All right, my friend. It's the prime of the show where you tell people what you got money on for next week because you love it so much right now.
So the Vikings did lose on Sunday, but definitely look pretty good up against the Lions. So give me them favored by 2.5 against the Rams. The Broncos favored by 8 against the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers suck, and the Broncos have started to gain some rhythm offensively. The Bucks going up against the Falcons in a bounce back spot from last week. So give me the Bucks favored by 2.5, and then the Colts going up against the Texans. The Colts are underdogs by 6. We just saw this game 5-6 weeks ago, and they lost by 2. And this is kind of one of those matchups that historically the Colts end up playing the Texans pretty well. So
yeah, no, I like it. I will co-sign your Minnesota -3 play. The Rams defense, especially that rush defense, is going to get torn up by Aaron Jones. Tampa Bay -2.5 against the Falcons. They should have beat them last time. Now they're at home. I think they do beat them. Yep. And Miami -3, the return of Tua against the bad Cardinals team, which we'll see on display tonight. All right, my friend. Anything for the good people before we get out of here?
Nope. We will definitely highlight a lot of those injuries next show on Thursday. But like Seb said, we got to get rolling tonight. So follow us on socials, X, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, all the things. We greatly appreciate all the support. If you have any feedback for us, throw it out. If we don't get any feedback, we're just going to keep doing things the way that we know and like to do. So We'll just keep doing what we're doing.
Yeah. As my wonderful co-host said, yes, we appreciate any feedback. Definitely get in the contest. We want to give away that money, 100 subscribers as soon as we get to it.
If not, I'm going to enter like 12 times.
That's true. Don't let Derek get this money. Nobody wants that. All right, folks, you know what they say. A lock a day keeps the bookie away. And here at the Degen Docs, we've got your prescription. All right, folks, good luck if you're tailing us tonight. And we will see you on Thursday night live, 7:15 Eastern. We're out of here. What's up, Degens? Doc here. As a proud member of the U.S. Army and a lover of football, sometimes those two things cross over on here. But as you probably already know, as a lowly captain, these are just my opinions. These are not opinions that are representative of the entire DoD or the U.S. Army. The same thing goes for any references to any commercial products or hyperlinks. Again, that does not constitute an endorsement from the DoD